Currently, trucks serve as the backbone of freight transportation. Traveling the roads of the world, their operation signifies the progress of entire nations. Once on the road, they are capable of showcasing notable differences between European and American designs and characteristics. But of course, this is something only the critical eye of a true truck enthusiast can notice with just a quick glance. These discrepancies go beyond mere aesthetics, reflecting a complex intersection of cultural factors, regulatory standards, and market preferences. Because yes, your opinion as a consumer also matters and is shaped by your origin. Bet you didn't know that. For this reason, in this video, I invite you to uncover the underlying reasons why trucks in Europe and America differ so significantly. Welcome. Be sure to pay attention until the end. With what you'll learn, you'll become a true truck identifier. Design and specification differences. Let's start with what's more on the surface of the iceberg. The disparities in the design and technical specifications of trucks. These are details that naturally stay in plain sight, and those who know them can easily identify whether a truck is European or American. Why? Let me explain. In Europe, these imposing vehicles tend to be more compact and efficient. But this isn't just a simple preference. It reflects the restrictions due to road infrastructure and the European Union's regulations on dimensions and emissions. Considering the intention behind their manufacturing, it's accurate to say that European trucks are designed to maneuver easily through the narrow streets of the continent's cities. While doing so, they also meet the European Union's emission standards, which, spoiler alert, are very strict. If we look the other way, we'll find that American trucks are usually larger and more robust. It seems like something you could appreciate at first glance, but not everyone can appreciate what's beneath their bodywork. There, more powerful and larger engines await us. Largely, these differences are due to the vast distances and extreme roads these crucial elements for a nation's economy are expected to traverse in North America. In the United States and Canada, for example, trucks are subjected daily to long hauls with heavy loads. Farewell to the use of pack animals. For this reason, American manufacturers, as a consequence of their environment, focus on designing trucks with greater load capacity and power. Why? Well, this is purely to satisfy market needs and create vehicles optimized for road conditions. But this is just the beginning of the differences between European and American trucks. There's still a lot more to discover. Regulations and standards. If you paid enough attention to the previous explanation, then you must have noticed that some of the most important design and feature differences between European and American trucks are directly influenced by specific regulations and standards in each region. For example, in Europe, the European Union's regulations set standards for vehicle dimensions. But this doesn't have to be a negative aspect. These are standards that encourage innovation in fuel efficiency and emission reduction technologies. This doesn't necessarily have to be a demand that harms local manufacturers. What is certain is that they drive the development of smaller and much cleaner operating trucks. How could this be a bad thing? However, if we observe the contrast, regulations in the United States tend to be less strict regarding vehicle emissions and dimensions. What does this mean? That local manufacturers enjoy greater flexibility in all aspects of truck design and construction. This is why American manufacturers keep their focus on the strength and load capacity of their models. What's the consequence? I've already mentioned it. The production of robust trucks that adapt to the demanding conditions of American roads. But we could summarize this and much more by simply saying they adapt to the transportation needs of the region, which naturally differ greatly from what we see in Europe. Did you already know that? Culture and market preferences. Now that you know transportation needs differ in both regions, we can move on to learning about culture and market preferences. In Europe, where we already know space is limited and roads are narrow, there is a greater demand for compact and agile trucks that can maneuver easily through often congested urban areas. Additionally, environmental awareness and sustainability concerns have led to greater adoption of low fuel consumption and low-emission technologies. In the United States, where car culture is more ingrained and distances are longer, it's impossible to hide the fact that there's a clear preference for larger and more powerful vehicles, even if we're not talking about trucks at all. But since they're the focus of today's analysis. In North America, trucks are considered indispensable work tools for transporting goods over vast distances. This is why consumers in the region place great value on power and load capacity, even over fuel efficiency and low emissions that a model might offer. But the landscape seems to be changing. Bet you didn't see that coming. Innovation and convergence. Despite the fundamental differences between European and American trucks that you now know, I can't let you leave the video without highlighting that the transportation industry is experiencing a gradual convergence between trucks from both regions. You'll probably start noticing fewer differences between models designed by European and American manufacturers. And this isn't a bad thing either. You see, advancements in technology and regulations are driving the adoption of more efficient and cleaner solutions on both sides of the Atlantic. But there's another significant factor playing into the possibility of global truck homogeneity. Can you guess what it might be? If you thought of globalization and the internationalization of automotive companies, you're correct. These two factors are facilitating the transfer of technologies and best practices between two markets that initially remained so distant from each other. What a wonderful time we truck lovers are living in. Better or worse? If you came into the video needing a direct answer on whether European trucks are better than American ones, I must be honest. The differences between them don't necessarily make one type of truck better or worse than its counterpart. How efficient one will be for you in practice will depend on your environment. Based on where it will be used, do you need more power and load capacity or trucks that are easier to maneuver and cleaner? You can define which type of truck is better or not based purely on the needs of the road it will cover. Therefore, in Europe, an American truck may not be the most efficient option. And naturally, in the United States, a European truck might be considered a vehicle that doesn't perform well enough for its long distances. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Now that you know what differentiates them, even you will be able to recognize the pros of one type of truck against its cons. Let's recap what we've learned today. The differences between European and American trucks result from a complex interaction of cultural factors, regulations, and market preferences. While these may currently be evident disparities, it's likely that we'll see greater convergence in the future as the transportation industry continues evolving toward more efficient and sustainable solutions. If you've made it this far, I thank you. Did you learn something from watching the video? Remember, the best way to support my content is by leaving a like. Are you a fan of American or European truck models? Leave me your opinion in the comments and tell me why.